Hello, this is Tahmina Farnood. I'm PhD candidate in Educational Studies at University of Victoria, and in this project I'm Residential School Denialism researcher.
And my name is Justin Harrison. I'm an engagement and learning librarian here at the University of Victoria.
In this project, which is called Surfacing the Nature and Scope of Residential School Denialism, and it is funded by University of Victoria Libraries grant, we investigate the narratives around residential school denialism.
Right, so we were looking at sources that ranged from blogs to Reddit conversations to self-published books. We were looking at scholarly academic work as well, just to identify the network, the scope of the network of denialists, who is saying it, and to identify the rhetorical strategies as well. As far as how my personal experience influenced me in this project, I've been an academic librarian for over 20 years now, with a focus on information literacy. And in this so-called post-truth era that we're living in, questioning the nature of information is very important, obviously, to all of us as educators, as learners. And so addressing a growing harmful trend of misinformation, such as residential school denialism, becomes very important to address.
And I've also been teaching in the past 15 years, and I've committed to teaching through critical pedagogy lens. And in my lived experience, I've lived in the totalitarian regime for so many years, and I'm very much familiar with the ways oppressors use their power and media to construct narratives to maintain in power. And these experiences have equipped me with a critical lens that I could also explore residential school denialism strategies and narratives.
And we define residential school denialism as the rejection or misrepresentation of basic facts about residential school in Canada, the system in Canada, towards undermining truth and reconciliation efforts. And we build upon comments and frameworks put forth by people like Special Interlocutor Kimberly Murray, Justice Murray Sinclair, academics such as Daniel Heath Justice and Sean Carlton, and we seek to build upon their work.
In this project, we tried to identify these strategies, and we also started with somehow exploring what denial in general is, and we then separated denial from denialism, and we defined denialism in terms of residential school systems. And also we explored the narratives with this lens, and we tried to see what are the tendencies and the reasons behind this specific harm that is growing now.
So we did very close reading of a lot of sources that we found, and we identified common themes and strategies that were being used by these writers and speakers, identifying some key authors and identifying a shared network of sorts amongst them.
This research addresses a very sensitive topic and a very emotional one, specifically for Indigenous people, but also for me as a researcher, it is very emotional and it is very difficult to explore these narratives. we are already confronting the impact of residential school system, which is explicitly a genocidal system, and denialism adds to the harm. And it's not easy to explore these narratives on media and see how these strategies are being nuanced, and it's difficult to detect if it is a strategy or not and how true it is. And I feel like it really requires a very strong contextual background of history and also careful critical analysis to interpret these narratives. So generally, I feel like the topic itself and also the way deniers have dealt very smartly to bring more harm to the context has been very tough and difficult to explore.
And we must respect the voices of witnesses, of victims, all the evidence that's available on the TRC website. We really see this as allied work, and we keep it, so it is very sensitive work. We try to keep it factual, transparent, out in the open. All these sources are out in the open as well, but we really see this as our responsibility as allies for this work towards truth and reconciliation.
Yes, residential school denialism is not Indigenous people's work. It's on us to deal with it. And in our findings, we found that this trend is on rise and it's growing. Sadly, it's growing so fast. And one of our findings was the fact that deniers have this network of connection that they link to each other, and they somehow amplify their voices, and they have space and media. And recently we found that they keep publishing more and more articles, and they use different very seemingly logical strategies to convince the audience. And in this research we identified strategies, and we tried to name these strategies, and we brought so many examples for the audience to be equipped with this knowledge to how to read the deniers' articles or published work on media. And with this finding, they could also find out that what is expressed is not explicitly factual. The main strategy, which is an umbrella term for many other strategies, is epistemic injustice. And then under that we have deflection, misuse of statistics, minimization, cherry picking, or positive framing. And there are some, and we have written these strategies and described and brought up so many examples that people could go through. And it's still ongoing, but I feel like it could equip our readers and our audience with some background knowledge around denialism.
And to highlight for readers things to look out for as well, because a lot of these strategies are quite common and shared.
Yeah. We try to present this work in different workshops in different educational spaces, and we are hoping to be able to expand this project and work more on this. And also we invite our colleagues, researchers, educators, teachers to bring this topic to their classrooms, to their work environment, and engage with this topic specifically now, which is very timely. And to somehow we're hoping to give a pause to this harm, or try to increase awareness around this growing harmful trend.